Well, speaking of that, let's kind of segue into the New Orleans Saints. It's a transition. It's a new era going to happen in New Orleans. And you have played against the Saints with Seattle, as well as when you were in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. But you know what it takes to develop a quarterback. You had a young developing quarterback in Michael Vick.
Yeah.
Do you believe after the years that Jameis has played in the NFL and what you like about Taysom Hill, how do you see this quarterback competition unfolding in New Orleans?
Wow, I think it's going to be really, really compelling to watch. And I think what gives it legitimacy is Sean Payton. You know, we know that he's going to evaluate based on production, performance, and potential to win football games. And, not every coach has the credibility that Sean does. So I think whatever decision they make and the way they decide to work that quarterback situation, we can have confidence that it's, the best decision. I think the one thing we have to do is be careful about comparing either of these young men to Drew Brees, which is going to be the natural thing for us to do. Is we want to, well, Drew wouldn't have done that, or why'd he do that? Drew would have won that game. Drew would have made that throw. Well, that's dangerous because these guys are not Drew Brees. We're talking about Hall of Famer here versus two guys that are still really developing. When Jameis came out, he had special traits. He had his arm talent was outstanding. My question on him when he came out was his decision making. Because as a quarterback, you have to be a great decision maker. And I saw some of the things that he did off the field, and that bothered me. And some of the things that he did on the field bothered me as well. With Hill, I don't know. I just, I still want to see him be a thrower, a guy that can throw it every single down. That's one of the things that concerns me. But who knows? Maybe they're not done. Maybe that guy named Russell Wilson finds his way down into the bayou. Who knows? Ooh. I know this. Mickey and Sean have a plan. They're not going to accept losing. Mickey said it himself. We don't rebuild, we retool. And I think that's definitely their attitude.
Do you think that this is still a Super Bowl championship roster?
Depends on how the quarterback plays. I think the roster, I'm probably like both of you guys, we've got the roster. And, what was amazing is the way they were able to come under the salary cap and the way they were able to restructure and re-sign guys, which, points to the fact that it's a culture that and a team that people want to play for and play with each other. But, it's my pretty strong belief that unless you've got a quarterback that can go out and win you a game at the end of the game, throwing the football down the field or making those tough third down plays or those clutch plays in the 2-minute, that it's going to be tough to win a Super Bowl. And I think that just remains to be seen with these two young men.
Good point. Now, let's talk about Drew Brees and what you've known about him. You competed against Drew. You know him very well. You saw him all of these years, 20 seasons in the National Football League, 15 with the Saints. Do you think he still had a little bit left in the gas, or do you think it was the right time for him? What you know about him and the behind-the-scenes story?
Given all that he's done, all that he's accomplished, and the things that he had to overcome early in his career, and even this year with the injuries, I think he made the right decision. I really do. I think he could have gone out and gutted it out again and been a productive quarterback. But, his body at this age with the hits he's taken, the injuries he's had, it was time for him to make the tough decision. And I'm sure it was a very tough decision because he's the ultimate competitor. But the thing you can say about Drew is he's always had great perspective. And he values his family. He values his family time. He knows his kids are growing up. They did get a chance to see their dad play in the NFL and have success. They got to run around on the field and catch passes from Tom Brady and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think that Drew did the right thing. I really do. I just, it's going to be tough for Saints fans for a while because he's not going to be running the show. But when you have Mickey Loomis and you have Sean Payton, I think you've always got a chance.
Definitely.
Now, Coach, you're a defensive guy. What was it like to prepare for a Drew Brees offense?
Oh, it was incredibly challenging because he's so intelligent. You know, part of playing defense is trying to fool a quarterback a little bit, trying to, you know, give him false looks pre-snap and make him decide what defense you're in when he has the ball in his hands, rather than when he's up there at the line of scrimmage, you can change the play. And Drew was so smart that, you know, it was hard to fool him. He was so accurate with the football. If you weren't exactly right in coverage, he's going to shred you. If you blew a coverage, you were in deep trouble. He could extend a play. He was frustrating to rush because, you know, I'm not talking about a guy that could run the ball necessarily, you know, like some of the great running quarterbacks, but he had pocket mobility. He was hard to get to. You know, you had to try to fill up those passing lanes and obstruct his vision. And then he had the ability to slide laterally and make those great throws. And then late in the down, I always felt like he excelled. You know, as the down progressed, a lot of quarterbacks panic, and he didn't. He kept his cool, and we'd see him time after time through his career make the great throw late in the down that kept the drive alive. And I mean, he's so special. And you know what? He had that. Sometimes you try to work up a little venom towards your opponent, you know, a little hate. And his motivation with Drew Brees, I mean, what's there to hate? You know, how are you going to draw up venom when you're dealing with a guy that's going to come across the field, come in his hand, shake your hand, and say, "Man, you know, what a great game, great play. Hey, how's your family doing?" You know, it was different. You know, Kurt Warner was like that same kind of guy. You know, and you just go, "Well, shoot, I love the guy." You know. And you guys would hit him, you'd say, hey, now be careful when you hit him. Don't hit him too hard. You know, make sure you just kind of knock him down. Don't knock him down. Of course, I'm kidding about that. But no, he's just the ultimate competitor, and you just had great respect for him.
Awesome. Before we wrap up, knowing the Saints and some of the holes that they may have, or I would say more needs that they will have, and evaluating some of the talent, what are some of the positions do you believe the Saints need to address first and early in the draft?
Well, I mean, I think obviously got to get the quarterback situation figured out, but I think they've done that. I mean, I think, you know, I kind of joke with the Russell Wilson thing. I think that would surprise me at this point. I think he'll probably be back in Seattle. They'll probably work that out. But you always need pass rush. And you always need to protect your quarterback, you know. I know that can kind of be boring. You say, well, offensive line, but you know, I don't think you can ever have enough great offensive linemen, and I think you need guys that can go out and pressure. And then of course when you know, Eric Allen is not Eric. Who's your DC? This is embarrassing.
Dennis Allen.
Yeah, you know what's embarrassing about that is he worked for me in Atlanta. But Dennis, you know, he's a great coordinator. He's very creative. So I think, you know, and I saw that, you know, they franchised Marcus Williams, and I thought that was a great move. But just adding corners, because, you know, you had to get rid of Janoris. So building up your secondary is obviously very important.
Coach, you brought up so many great points, and I know we've gone a little over, so thank you so much. But I want to put Coach Jim Mora back on the sidelines one more time. You're the coach of the New Orleans Saints. You tell me what you're doing with your first-round draft pick.
I don't know. I'd love to be able to give you a definitive answer. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. This is, you know, I'm taking the best available player at the time that I draft. That's what I'm doing. On my board, the board that I set up that has every position and every player, whoever's ranked at the top, that's who I'm taking.
Okay.
That's a cop-out. Cop-out.
Yeah, well, look, I understand, Coach. It's a difficult decision, and you're not Mickey Loomis. And, you know,
No.
Mickey is the Jedi master of all NFL executives right now. I want to say thank you so much for joining Bob and I, and we will have you back in April before the draft. So thank you so much. Guys, you can go ahead and follow Coach Mora on what? Are you on Twitter, Instagram?
Yeah, Coach. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't really do a lot of Twitter, so I don't know what it is. Well, I know what it is. It's Jim @Jim_Mora FB football. So FB.
All right.
There we
All
go.
right. Well, you got to follow Coach Mora. You know, he is a part of the Who Dat Nation, whether he loves it or not, or likes it or not. He's always going to be a part of it. And you and your father. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, man. You guys have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Coach. That was good.